to have gotten to this point and to be able to extend it potentially?
Yeah, I mean it's been great, obviously. We miss this feeling. We miss this a lot. We had to put in a ton of work to get to this point and to earn this opportunity. So it goes to show how hungry we are. We're down right now, but we're not out. This team's gonna keep fighting. It's what it's done all year, and there's no doubt in my mind that it's gonna happen. So we're enjoying this still. Every challenge is a new opportunity to push yourself and to grow as individuals and as a group, and the situation we're in is no different.
What's in the DNA of your team that makes you believe you've got this?
We're resilient. I'm sure we've been counted out by people outside our locker room more than once this year. So this situation, like I said, is going to be no different. We've gone through some tough stretches as a group. We've responded the way we needed to respond, and this is no different. We're facing the same challenge, and the task can seem pretty daunting when you look at the big picture, but small picture, got to go on the road, win one game, completely flip the momentum, and you do that, you start to plant a little bit of doubt in their mind, and you go from there. Like I said, this is a resilient group, and we still have some guys from a few years ago when we did this against Toronto that know the mental aspects of it as well, and how it feels as you're coming back. So the next one's important, obviously. But from if you're able to get that one, you're able to really roll from there.
Thanks, Brendan.
No worries.
Thanks, Eric. Next question, Arpin Basu. Arpin.
Hey, Brendan. So speaking of small picture, go on the road, win one game. Um, Obviously, you look at the two games you guys played in Washington, and you could say you were a goal away, which you were obviously in the overtime game, and pretty much till the end of the other game. But are there any, looking back on it, are there any elements from those games that you can take with the matchups and everything being different down there, that you can identify as you guys clearly needing to be better at? And even last night, like, are there elements of your game that you feel in your losses have not been up to par and need to change?
Yeah, I would say, when they're at their best, they're a strong forechecking team, and when we're at our best, we're breaking that pressure, and we're forechecking, we're controlling the play, and I think, it's kind of easy to see in this series who's controlling the game and who's controlling the ball. And it has a lot to do with who's creating those turnovers and causing the other team, forcing them into some mistakes. Um, and I think special teams have also played a huge impact in this series. So obviously, those are our two aspects that we're going to need to be sharp and control the game. And do that, we give ourselves a chance.
Do you feel in any way that you guys are getting distracted by your frustration with the officiating?
No, honestly, I think for the most part, we've handled it well. Obviously, hasn't gone our way. That goes without saying, and but that's for them to control. There's certain things that's in the league's control, and have faith that it'll start to flip, and they'll take care of it. But for us as players, we just got to focus on our job, and it's emotional. The playoffs are it brings the emotions to a new level. But I think as a group, we've actually done a pretty good job of dealing with it and trying to move on the best we can.
All right, thank you.
Stephen Wino.
Hey, Brendan, you just mentioned kind of playoff series get emotional and all that, but what do you make of sort of the warm up antics and obviously the teams got fined for all that, but like what do you make of how the series has gotten sort of testy?
I mean that happens in every series, especially the first rounds. I think teams are so excited to be where they are, and you're starting to journey off. I think every playoff that I've been a part of, the first round is usually the most physical and the most emotional, and this one's no different. I think both sides have players that are competing, and that's just a part of it. And I just found out about 20 minutes ago that something happened. I didn't even know last game, so I can't even comment on the warm up last game. But I'm sure I'll find out. But it's the game is played between the whistles, and that's where we need to focus.
Guillaume Lefrançois et Jonathan Bernier.
Hi, Brendan. Just going back to the whole to how the team handled the physical part of that series. How do you sort of toe the line between, clearly some of their big veteran guys have challenge your team physically. So how do you handle um, not not losing your focus and also being aware of what they're trying to do to your group?
Yeah, I mean, that's a side of the game that we're comfortable playing as well. I think game three when we won, the hits were, we had twice as many as they did, even more. So I mean, that plays a part in it. I'm sure they wanted to respond, um, and yeah, that's just a part of any series. So that's a part of the game that our team is comfortable playing. You got to finish on their top guys. That goes without saying, and it's all part of it. So that's all part of the playoff nature that our group is experiencing and enjoying.
Going back to 2021, when you did come back from 1-3, that was a much older group, obviously a lot more experience on that group. That group was also healthy. So how do you how do you view your role in that group in a much younger group this time around than the one you had 4 years ago?
Yeah, I mean it's that's an experience that we're going to draw on. The guys that went through it. You understand the mental challenges with each game, and the game five was the hardest mentally for us. To because you're looking at big picture and you're looking at the challenge in front of you, but you really have to just shorten your mindset. And we went in there, we went into Toronto, we won one game. We were able to get it back to the Bell Center, and you just feel the belief grow from there, and vice versa. With Toronto, you're just trying to plant that seed of doubt. In Washington, it's going to be the same challenge. So it's yeah, you draw on that experience for sure, and you try to relay that message. But for us, it's just right now our goal and our focus is very short term, and it's a challenge that we're capable of doing. Going into a tough building and winning a hockey game is something that this group has done all year, and something that we feel like we can do again.
Thank you.
Merci, Guillaume. Prochaine question, Jonathan.
Hello, Brendan. Just want to know if there's any way you can slow down their forward to make sure that your D doesn't they don't get crushed like yesterday.
I mean, yeah, you can hold up. You can do the best you can to slow them down, but that's just part of it. It's been a physical series. Every game, there's both sides are finishing everywhere they can, and that's part of playoff hockey. So that's just part of something that you're gonna have to deal with. And obviously, I think it's an area of the game that both teams talk about. Both teams can play to that style and are fine playing that way. So it's just a part of the game that going into it you have to expect.
Do you remember a playoff series where it was as tough as this one that you were involved in?
Well, I don't know if you remember those the early on in my career, the series against Ottawa.
Oh, yeah.
Those were pretty physical series. So I think there were line brawls, there were stuff like that. So it was, I mean, definitely been a part of something like this before. This is I would probably say that was more physical. There's moments, but I think it's both teams are, like I said, both teams are playing hard. We understand what's on the line. Both teams are competing. The physicality is part of the game that you expect going into it. So it's not something that's something our group can't handle.
All right, thank you.
Partant du Centre Bell, c'est drôle, mais tous les employés du building nous ont dit à vendredi, sur un match 6, à l'inverse, dans le vestiaire des Capitals, ils disaient qu'ils avaient pris beaucoup de plaisir à calmer la foule ici hier. À quel point, en sachant ce que vous avez vécu, match 3 et 4 ici avec vos partisans, c'est une motivation de revenir pour leur donner un autre cadeau?
C'est sûr, c'est toujours une motivation. C'est d'aller gagner un match puis de ramener ça ici.
Évidemment, il y avait beaucoup d'émotions après le match à tête reposée. Est-ce que tu arrives mieux à voir le portrait global, non seulement de ce match-là, mais de la série en entier, puis des éléments peut-être qui auraient pu faire la différence?
C'est une série où ça pourrait être 2-2, ça pourrait être 3-1 pour nous autres, c'est 3-1 pour eux autres. Je trouve que notre jeune équipe a joué du très bon hockey. C'est de continuer. C'est de savoir qu'on est capable de battre cette équipe-là. Va falloir aller les battre sur la route. Puis après ça, on va passer à l'autre étape. Ça va être la game à la maison. J'ai full confiance dans le groupe.
Martin, sens-tu que ton équipe à l'heure actuelle, avec son inexpérience, qu'elle est maintenant, fait en sorte que les Capitals vous amènent dans une zone où vous n'êtes jamais vraiment allé avec votre jeune équipe?
Ben, c'est sûr, il y a des joueurs qui n'ont pas cette expérience-là, mais on a beaucoup de joueurs qui ont fait partie de des séries comme ça, où ils perdent 3-1. Fait que, tu sais, je sais qu'il y a des joueurs, c'est la première fois, mais c'est même pas. C'est regarder ça, un match. Tu sais, va gagner un match. Moi, les séries, c'est tout le momentum. Comment tu peux aller chercher le momentum puis le garder longtemps? Il va falloir aller le chercher puis le garder.
Je prends un petit peu la question d'Anthony, mais est-ce que vos partisans méritent une autre partie?
Ben, c'est sûr.
Le support qu'ils vous ont donné.
C'est sûr. Nos partisans méritent une autre. Je pense qu'on en mérite un autre aussi. Les gars travaillent. Tout le monde dans le bateau, les fans inclus.
Il y avait beaucoup d'ajustation évidemment après le match. Il y a des gars qui remettaient un peu en question l'arbitrage, d'autres qui disaient que ça fait partie de la game et tout. Vous allez à Washington, match numéro 5. C'est quoi l'importance d'essayer de trouver l'équilibre entre jouer le jeu physique, être émotif, tout ça, mais en même temps rester concentré sur la tâche à accomplir? Est-ce que c'est difficile de trouver cet équilibre-là pour l'équipe et comment tu peux l'équilibrer?
Ouais, c'est sûr, c'est difficile, mais en général, je trouve que notre jeu, il n'y a pas. On a eu des hauts et des bas, mais il y a beaucoup de bons à travers tous ces moments émotionnels où on se fait défier. Fait que je pense qu'on va être pas mal la même affaire. T'sais. On va être pas loin de la ligne, puis faut-il aller l'autre bord de la ligne un peu, peut-être. Mais c'est de continuer à jouer notre game, qu'on sait qu'on est comment jouer, puis d'essayer d'exécuter le mieux qu'on peut. Mais les intentions, le mindset, l'attitude est exactement où il faut qu'elle soit.
Salut Martin. Brendan nous rappelait qu'en 2021, on sont revenus de l'arrière contre les Maple Leafs, c'était 1-3, puis il disait que le match numéro 5, c'était plus difficile parce que tu ne veux pas regarder le big picture, mais tu l'as en même temps parce que tu es comme loin. Mais pour rester dans le moment présent, comment tu t'y prends pour rester dans le moment présent puis pas regarder et dire hey, là j'ai une montagne
C'est comme je l'ai dit, c'est une série pour moi, d'un match, dans la série, c'est tout à propos du momentum. C'est d'aller chercher le momentum à Washington. C'est sûr que ça prend une victoire. Puis là, mais tu tires la série encore, puis es-tu capable de garder ce momentum-là avec l'autre game? C'est pas de dire, faut gagner 3 games. Non, il faut aller chercher le momentum. C'est tout.
Carberry seems quite focused on matchups in the series, especially when you have one line that's so dangerous. What from the first 2 games did you learn about how the matchups worked, and to what extent do you need to try and change that, if at all?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to try to make his job hard. Sometimes the whistle, the icing allow you to do that. I feel we've done a better job these last couple of games of not icing the puck as much, which helps us to keep the matchup that we wanted. Like, I wanted matchup too, and I feel like we did a pretty good job at getting those here. And I know what he's looking for. And, he tried to make it hard on me. I'm going to try to make it hard on him. And sometimes the game itself allows you to do that easier than other time. But, at the end of the day, like on the road, you got to be, ready to play against whoever, and not think that, it's going to be easy and because you don't have the last change, so you have to play through that, but there'll be pockets where you feel like you can, get away from his matchup. We'll take care of that.
When you have such an impactful line, and he's trying to manipulate how you use that line, like who he's putting on the ice and say, well, you did
I
that
don't
here.
know. I
so
mean,
you have to. Is there a line there as well?
How many minutes did Susie play yesterday? Susie's line.
A lot.
Exactly.
He's played a lot every game.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're trying to manage the minutes. You're trying to be calculated in who he's going out on the ice against. but overall, like I think both teams has kind of gotten what they wanted a little bit. And, you know, like I said, the series could be 2-2, 3-1 us, it's 3-1 them. But I feel like both teams have gotten pockets to do what they want. I think all the top guys are playing the minutes they should play. I think for the majority at home, you've gotten what you wanted, you know. So, you know, he's going to get that opportunity to do that at home. You know, am I going to try to juggle that and make it hard on him? Yeah, it's my job.
This obviously seems to be the question of the day, but your group seems to thrive in situations like this when you're backed into a corner and everybody counts you out. And here we go again.
Yeah, no, I feel all year we've had that mentality where, you know, everything looks like it's going the wrong way, so to speak, and I feel like we get up and speak.
Obscure question. In retrospect, would you have pulled Dobesh with 2:47 left?
Yeah, I would have done
when
the
do
same
you
thing.
decide when the time is right?
I would have done the same thing. You have an offensive zone face-off. I need a goal. Whether I get it at 32 seconds left, at 32 seconds left, you need a goal. An offensive zone draw. I still have a timeout. So I potentially can have, you know, the guys that I want on the ice for the rest of the game if I really need to. So for me, you might never get another offensive zone face-off. And then it's hard, like, okay, if you don't pull it now, who's going on the ice? And now, like, are we going to be able to get organized? It might not be another whistle. So it's hard. But for me, I felt very confident, you know, and we actually won the face-off. But, you know, what happened. But I felt very confident at that time to pull it.
Salut Martin, avant ma vraie question en suivi à ça, c'est-tu aussi parce que tu as espoir que le sixième gars sur le face-off, justement, aide à gagner le face-off, aide à établir la possession? Y a-tu un peu de ça? Parce que sinon, il y a toujours la possibilité d'attendre que la possession soit franche avant de
Oui, mais même si tu perds le face-off avec 6, ils vont avoir de la misère à sortir avec possession. C'est que peut-être la puck va sortir, c'est sûr, mais là, on va faire un breakout, on va s'en venir, puis il va falloir que tu gagnes une bataille peut-être dans la zone offensive pour setter up ton affaire. Puis le face-off, c'est une bataille en partant. Fait qu'il faut t'en gagner une bataille. Fait que là, tu as une chance de gagner la bataille tout de suite avec le face-off. Puis si tu perds, mais habituellement, mais c'est rare à moins que c'est vraiment ta paire clean, puis le gars, il a shoot par-dessus tout le monde dans le net. Ça peut arriver, mais avoir 6 joueurs sur la glace, ça va t'aider à gagner un face-off, puis ça va t'aider à récupérer une puck si tu perds.
Au sujet des retours de 1-3, ça t'est quand même arrivé souvent dans ta carrière de joueur.
Oui.
Je ne sais pas à quel point tu en parles beaucoup à tes joueurs, mais toi, qu'est-ce que tu as pris de ces expériences? 3 fois?
OK.
Qu'est-ce que tu Qu'est-ce que tu as pris, toi, de ces expériences-là que tu peux essayer de transmettre aux gars?
Momentum. Va chercher le momentum. C'est tout. C'est pas 3 games, une game. Va chercher le momentum.
Juste avant, pour un peu tout le monde, pas de mise à jour sur Carrier ou Montembeau. Je dois demander.
Non, ouais, ça demain.
Okay. Je t'entendais parler évidemment des match-ups et de tout ça. Évidemment, en série, c'est décuplé. Là. C'est déjà quelque chose en saison, mais en série, c'est un autre niveau. Puis à chaque match, c'est la même chose. À quel point tu apprends là-dedans, à quel point tu y prends plaisir, puis à quel point tu trouves ça peut-être difficile ou que tu t'amuses un peu dans tout ça?
Non, c'est sûr, j'apprends, mais c'est parce que c'est pas ma première expérience de vivre des match-ups. Tu sais, comme je l'ai vécu comme joueur, je sais comment ça marche, je sais comment les entraîneurs essaient de naviguer à travers les match-ups. Puis, fait que c'est pas comme je suis pas éduqué là-dedans. Puis ça fait partie de la game d'échecs un petit peu, tu sais. Puis c'est pas quelque chose qui me tracasse. J'aime d'être dans ces situations-là. Puis on va continuer.
Dernière question, Alexis. Hier, tu avais beaucoup de difficultés à exprimer tes émotions. Je ne sais pas si quelques heures plus tard, tu es capable d'expliquer pourquoi c'était difficile ou que c'était capable de...
Ben c'était frais. Écoute, c'est émotionnel. Tu sais, ton équipe a bien joué. Tu sais, puis tu te retrouves sur le mauvais bord. Tu sais, puis t'as des gars qui ont été à la guerre, qui sortent de là, tu sais, avec des bobos, tu sais. Fait que c'est sûr, comme entraîneur, c'est plate à voir. Mais on s'est levé aujourd'hui, puis les émotions sont venues à la bonne place, tu sais. Puis c'est de continuer. Moi, je suis content que comment qu'on pousse les Capitals, comment qu'on joue contre eux autres. Puis c'est de continuer. C'est de continuer à aller avoir les intentions, l'attitude et tout pour amener cette série-là très profonde.
Merci, Martin.
OK, merci.